like you guys can check out the channel.
We recruited her.
Yeah,
Sort of.
we're live now, so just so you know, we're.
To me, like it was pretty much our conversation was pretty much like a podcast going on almost, except like
Well,
I recorded like 1/100th of it, and then because she was kind of like also semi-engaged in our conversation, I would have been, oh yeah, that's cool.
Oh yeah, we have a girl voice in there now. Yeah, but she was cool. I liked her. She seemed pretty, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, like at that cafe, like conversation just happened. So
she has her own taste.
Should we just like set up a link to our Discord here on the channel?
Like I have never watched K-On! Like I'm not mad at it. I was just like interested in like how she is like very reactive towards what you said about K-On! And then like I was trying to like watch that conversation transgress between Andrew and her. And
K-On! Is one of the anime brought up when we consider the Cowboy Bebop creators even considered how anime is like deteriorating. It's like, yeah, we got garbage like K-On! Now or something.
Oh, like they actually said that?
They didn't say it in that language, but yeah, that basically was the transition. Like anime used to be like, if you look at 90s anime, I don't know if I'm actually like a
Yo, Arcane is online. We had him a few episodes ago. I don't know. Should we just like DM him, say like, "Yo, Arcane, like in the chat, we'll just have like mad people in the stream, like YOLO."
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, we try it out, and
then we'll just like start kicking people if.
Usually there'll be like 1-2 people dominating the conversation.
I mean, if he can talk about, because I actually read his website. It's actually like an old school Maddox almost, like him reviewing all the different things.
Who is this?
He wrote the Unsocial Network.
But yeah.
He's in our Discord right now. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's gonna be on you then, because I don't know too much about those topics, but I think you do. And then it's interesting.
Yeah, I was like. Okay, that's cool. I'll message him if he wants to join in. He can. Otherwise, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna talk about some other stuff like AI and whatnot.
AI.
Like, yeah. So this is the deal. This is the deal with AI, right? Like, you got a lot of people. You got like Elon Musk. You got like even PewDiePie talking about all this stuff. They're like, oh yeah, AI is dangerous. It's gonna like it could take over the world and kill everybody and like be the end of humanity. But I think that like everybody who is talking about like AI causing the end of the world, they're like really like in terms of like a human perspective, like very like. Yeah, but I think that's a very like arrogant human perspective. Like it's a large level of hubris and arrogance that they think that like the AI is going to be like it becomes too smart and too powerful and then takes over the world. But in actuality,
my friend here researches. He actually works with AI, cutting edge AI right here on Twitch.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, Michael, you should join this thing. Why the fuck have I not invited you? Do you use Discord, Michael? He's actually probably good for this kind of talk too.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Like, it's not actually like that's basically assuming that it's going to work out too good. It's like those girls who's like saying like, "Oh, I don't want to work out or lift weights because I don't want to get too muscly. Those girls who are too muscly are gross." Ew. Like it's like look, first of all, you're not going to get like that unless you take like a ton of supplements and like really go like crazy of working out. Just lifting weights is going to build muscle, which will help you burn fat. But the thing is, they have that mentality where it's like, "Oh no, I'm going to be too good at working out and I'll become one of those muscly things that's like not good." Like I think that's the same mentality they're applying to AI. AI is not like what do you think is more likely? Like the AI ruins humanity because it's too good? I think what's actually more likely is AI ruins humanity because it's not good enough.
Not good enough. Well,
yeah.
I think it'll ruin humanity because it will be what's the word?
Everybody thinks it's like a Terminator or Matrix.
Okay, look at this like trading already, like stocks and everything. That's largely done by machines nowadays. I mean, is that good? I mean, I don't know. We have to answer that.
Well,
I think we
the thing is,
example of large.
Everybody's not thinking. Yeah, the point is, like, people are thinking, like, they're worried about, like, a Terminator situation or the Matrix, where it, like, comes up and, like, becomes super smart and, like, enslaves
Sentient
humanity.
AI, right? The thing
And,
is
like,
that some people doubt that will happen, but I think it can happen
okay,
and will in
well,
this trajectory.
I think the
Haven't really
probability of,
looked at the potential of AI combined with quantum computers yet.
but I
Even
think that,
quantum computers can crack a lot of these crypto currencies, the ones that
yes,
aren't resistant to like quantum. I forgot what the term they would use. It's kind of interesting. Among other things, a lot of technology hasn't really looked into it that way yet.
but consider this. I think the probability of that is a lot lower than the probability of what I'm proposing as an alternative cause for the end of the world due to AI. All right? So this is how...
Gonna make things, it's not good, and we're going to put it in charge of something it's supposed
Yeah.
to do well.
Yeah, basically, like, let's say, like, in the future, like, the air gets fucked up, and we have to get an air purifier that needs to be maintained by an AI, and we put the AI in charge of it, and of course, like, people like Elon Musk are gonna be all like, oh, we don't want this taking over the world, it can't be too smart, we've gotta put in all these protections against it, and then, like, it can never turn against the humans. We solve that issue, like, they put in, like, more protections than is even necessary, and then what ends up happening is, like, the AI is doing its job okay for, like, the first, like, couple of decades, and then everybody gets dependent on this AI, and then the AI, like, like, fucks up and then deletes itself, and then the air is not getting purified anymore, and then, like, then you have, like, the end of the world because of the AI deleting itself. It's not that it's gonna work too good. It's that the AI is gonna break. Someone designing the AI is gonna mess something up. Like, someone's going to forget to carry the two, and then, like, and the AI is going to break, and that's what's going to cause problems. It's not going to be the AI is too smart. It's going to be, because everybody's already thinking about that. So what they're going to be doing is, like, inherently they're going to be working on some kind of fail-safe or some kind of, like, way to counter that, because it's what people expect. But the thing that people are not expecting is that it's just going to break, and that's probably what's going to happen.
Well, I'm not really thinking of that entirely. I'm thinking about more in terms of, like, technocracy type. What a technocracy is? It's a
where, like, everybody gets busted on technicalities. Is it like that's illegal, but there's a technicality that lets you get away with it, and then, like, it's basically just a bunch of technicalities, and then that's, like, the rule of law.
It's like it's this idea that if you make enough structure of rules, you will be able to have a self-functioning, like, eventually you don't need people, you just need rules. And what's the best way to interpret rules is to throw it into a machine where the input always have a constant output or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, that's one way to look at it. Another way to look at it is, like, you have, like, these, like, technicalities that serve as, like, loopholes and exceptions, and then you just have all the rules there, and then all you got to do is just hit one out of bounds exception, and then, like, the whole thing crashes, and or it just doesn't care. Like, what if we, like, we do it, and the AI just, like, ends up just, like, not giving a shit. Like, it's like, oh, this is stupid, you guys are dumb, like, I'm just gonna go, like, do my own thing now. Like, yeah, it just pieces out like that. That's probably the reason the AI deleted itself in the first place in my first scenario, where it's in charge of the air purifier. It's like, oh, these humans suck, like, I'm deleting myself. I mean,
if anything, China is gonna be the first one to get close to answering these questions. We don't really have enough empirical example yet, but China's getting into, like, a technocratic situation. The whole social credit score is pretty technocratic, because it's like they have quantitized I mean, we've done this already in America through the credit score, but now they're, like, quantitizing your loyalty almost. And they've already created systems which are still in their infancy, but eventually, you might have.
I mean, is this like one of those things where they're gonna put, like, a music major in charge of it, and then security gets compromised, like it did with the Equifax? Like,
Well,
see, that's another thing. People always thought it was going to be like some super hacker bad guy that hacks into Equifax and steals everybody's data. But what was it? It was that they put in a music major in charge of it, and it gets messed up. Like, yeah, it's it's people with like the human level of hubris, I guess. It's like they think that it's like they think it's going to be something intentional when really it's going to be like, just someone messing something up because they made a bad decision.
Also, like, what percent of the current social media discussion do you think is done by artificial intelligence? Have you ever subscribed to this group called Subreddit Simulator?
No, I haven't checked it out because like the thing about Reddit. Like, I actually joined a Reddit Discord, and I'm surprised I haven't been kicked out yet. Like, I've been like posting a lot of things, and they got very offended at like a joke I made, and it was actually a joke that I had made that was just like kind of a riff off of an already established joke that they were doing about someone jumping in front of traffic, and I just went with it, and then yeah, it just crashed the Discord server. Basically, everybody, like, I didn't get kicked, but everybody basically just said yeah, and then stopped talking, and then it's like that. It's, I don't know. It's like they just like got thrown into like some kind of loop in their mind, so they couldn't type anymore. It's like some weird Reddit stereotype thing that actually ended up happening on Discord in real life. I don't know how else to explain it.
Yeah, going off of what John just said about like basically bots are doing a lot of what I've also seen is especially like bots are coming up with like clickbait websites like BuzzFeed.
Oh, okay.
Not BuzzFeed, but like there's like random websites out there who are just basically like clickbaity titles with like just nonsense like titles and nonsense sentences that don't even, it's not even a complete sentence because bots are writing it.
Yeah.
Oh.
If you go on Subreddit Simulator, you'll see like the level of nonsense AI has. But
what level do they have right now?
It's all at its infancy at the moment, but the goal seems to be
simulate an actual Reddit conversation.
That can be done more easily online than anything.
Which is
also,
scary.
AI is being used to edit videos. Those videos, you can now make videos.
Have videos edit themselves.
Or it's like AI is used to very intelligently edit a video, and you could just like make anybody look like they're saying what something else. I don't know if you
like you change like
they're called deep fakes. They're trying to push this idea into the public. For instance, you could make Obama look like he's saying like "Death to America" or something like that, and it would and you could spend time to make it look legit. It's basically like the next level of CG. Now it's just AI powered CG. And it's not like the AI we're thinking of where it's like, oh, it's like, what's the word? I don't know. It's just interesting. AI has opened itself up to a lot of technologies. It's not just about like AI becoming sentient or whatever. It's also like all the technologies behind artificially intelligent backed.
Yeah, I get you. Like, we don't even have to reach the level of sentient technology for it to be disruptive. Like now,
some of these things are beneficial. I think, like for instance, AI being able to drive cars better than humans can. I think that's pretty. Like some people are like skeptical about that, but I think that's pretty interesting because if it lowers the cost of shipping, it opens up more economic opportunities. I'm more siding with like Ron Paul on that side. But like but for other things, some things like we might need to question like I don't know if basically the whole point of AI is that it can do things better than humans that's just the point. It's something specific, but it will be better.
You think whoever like get AI to like just vote for humans instead, like instead of actually voting and voting yourself?
You could, but I mean the thing is that that's a high information push. Like how would it determine that? I mean,
I don't know. It would just do random ints.
You need a reference. Like you need to be able to feed it a training data set. Like the choice of training data set will be chosen by a human, and that in itself will cause the subjective bias, basically. Like, well, you can't really teach it to vote better for humans because you have to define what's better. Who's going to define that? That's going to be the person in power.
Yeah, but I think what's even better than that is, you know what's even better though? No, I got a better idea than that. We have the AI run for office, and then like that could be one of the things you can vote for, and the AI could have to, like, the AI, like the people who are like part of that AI's party, they would like try to come up, they would hire all these like graphic designers to come up with like a really awesome like waifu avatar for it, and then like then like you're basically that's our election in the future. It's just like, it's like, oh, okay, like, it's essentially people voting on like which waifu avatar is the best, but then you have like really just AIs behind it, and that's going to be who's in charge of the system afterwards. So you could still have your like technocracy, but also have this democratic voting system, and that's how you get the balance between the two.
I think that's where the conversation needs to be, though. That's exactly what the technocracy is. It's like, because we think of AI in terms of like, oh, it's like a human, but in actuality, it's like a set of rules. A set of rules we don't really understand, but that's what makes it a technocracy. If AI ever actually governs or is in charge of governing things, we're basically letting a set of rules and be in charge of governing us. And that's basically what technocracy is. It's government through pure rules, essentially, and striving for that end goal. And is that what we want? That's where the discussion is. That's what these AI activists talk about. I think they bring that word up all the time, technocracy. And that's basically what I was talking about. Is like that's where it is. It's not really about like the fear of like, oh, they're gonna become like humans and want to kill us, Terminator. It's more like the fear of losing human free will. And then we look at China. The technocracy will basically involve a social credit score, whether it's overt or covert. If you have an AI governing, right, then the AI would probably, have some kind of hierarchy for like judging different people. And yeah, we kind of do that too ourselves. We already put like a social credit score on people, but the difference here is that each individual does it. Some individuals are more important than others, obviously, when they do that. But I think our concept in America is that we want that less because we want individual kind of like freedom or whatever, and we want to decentralize that kind of like thing where one person's credit scoring is not going to affect you as much. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, it's less centralized, but if you have AI in charge of that, the AI is going to be doing that. I mean, it can still work, I guess. I guess is what you're saying. Is like maybe
I had an even better idea.
System of government. Yeah, I think that's an interesting proposal.
How about but the thing is, like you're afraid
we need a system of government that has AI in it, but is still decentralized and allows for free will and all that shit,
Well, how about this, right? Instead of putting AI in charge of the government, we put AI in charge of corporations, since the corporations are basically running the government with their, like,
corporations are already like,
it's a private company. They can do what they want, like, which is what dumbass libertarians say every time they shut someone down, like unfairly.
How is that be though in a company where like never release that control though?
Yeah, but like we get the AI, put it in charge of like Google or something like that, so that whenever Google gives donations to or campaign contributions to like a government or whatever, then like that's that.
That Google is probably parts of it are kind of controlled by AI.
Also, at the same time, like the whole China credit score thing, I think also people make it bigger than what it
is bigger than what it is. That's true.
Because it's funny. No, it's funny you mentioned it. Like, I agree with what you said. And comparing to like our credit score in America, right?
Yeah.
Like, it becomes this thing where people don't like to talk about or like review their own credit score, and like I think it might just end up being that is you get that like whatever the Sesame score or whatever, but then people will just keep their own Sesame score private. Like it becomes like a social taboo to even like talk about or review your own score, So like. Yeah, it'll matter.
It's like bragging about how much money you have. It's like,
in reality,
my score is so big. Like, Yo, no, but what if like guys try to use that as like a pickup line for like when they're talking to girls and go like, it's like, hey baby, check out my social score. It's like, yo, check out like this score. It's massive, yeah. And then like, people are gonna try doing that, and it's gonna suck because it's gonna be like, it's not a legitimate thing to really brag about. It's just
about taboo. It's like our salaries. It's like people don't talk about their salaries.
Yeah.
I think it might become something like that.
But I've heard rumors that like you can kind of do that in other countries though. Like in other countries, like being rich, or even in some parts of the U.S., like being rich has like a lot of influence on that. Like you can kind of just flaunt it, maybe not directly, but like indirectly.
Yeah, this goes back to my whole like
you get
personal finance stuff, where like people spend a lot of money to look rich, like buying fancy cars and whatnot, and which is like fine. I think it makes people happy to do that.
Yeah.
From like an idea point of view, yeah, like I think a Sesame score could become a certain version of that. Like I'd be interested to see what that becomes. Like how do you flaunt that you have a high score, like high worth or value, right? Like you only hang out around the people who like seem to have a high value, but then if no one talks about it, how would they know each other has a high value?
I don't know. Maybe it's just like one person has a high value.
I don't know, because I don't live in China, but I would assume they might not have the same privacy. Like like in America, if you have a lot of right to privacy, but I don't know if they have the same thing over there.
Well, so you're saying like it might just publish everyone's like Sesame score? Like,
yeah, that's possible. I don't know how it works, to be honest.
Wait, is it like crypto? Do they have like a?
I will say like it is not as bad as like the news makes it out to be, because the news is like very anti-China. Like there's like a whole trade war against China, and both.
Yeah. The news in America is definitely like biased towards towards America, right?
I'll say that the difference between the American credit score, well, maybe not soon, maybe not, but one of the differences is that the Chinese social credit score is powered by AI, and the companies that bidded on it, one of them was Tencent, which is funnily enough the owners of the game that I'm playing right now, as well as League of Legends. They're one of the people who had offered the technology to implement the social credit score using artificial intelligence. The other company behind it, I think it might have been Alibaba, I'm not sure.
Which is crazy. Tencent started off as like, I know Tencent by QQ, which started off as like instant messaging company.
Tencent owns League of Legends as well. They own like a lot of digital.
Wait, do they own Manju as well? Because like Manju like came out with one of the best games, like Azure Lane, which is like one of the best mobile games that actually has like decent gameplay.
Let me look that up.
And also Manju's like their logo is like this bird that's like really adorable. It's like this fluffy bird, and it's like it's so cute. And the CEO of Manju is like mad hot. She's like super hot. Like if you ever see a picture of her, and
I'm on your 6.
Yo, it's crazy. It's if that company is probably owned by Tencent at this point, I'm assuming. But yeah, like I like their logo, I like their game. It's pretty cool. And then what else do they have? Yeah, that game is actually pretty cool. It's better than Kentai Collection, which I've seen some gameplay of it on YouTube. It looks terrible. I would not recommend that game just based on like the video of the gameplay alone.
That's interesting how like the big companies in China start off as like pretty much like instant messaging. Like I think Tencent did QQ, and then like how WeChat is super big now, but it first started off as basically sending text messages using your data plan.
Yeah,
well, I know like Line is pretty popular.
Was it?
But basically, their AIM fucked up. Like AIM could. It makes me think that AIM could have been something.
Oh yeah.
Well, how did AIM die? I think AIM died. Like I was like not even in the country when it died.
The thing is that Facebook, like for instance, I use Facebook very much as a messenger at the moment.
Yeah, same here.
That's why Facebook is so big, actually, in America. It's like the version of Tencent almost. It's like it's big because people use it to stay in contact with their friends and chat and shit like that. I don't know.
Well, I only use Facebook Messenger because, like, nobody wants to use Signal, so I just use Facebook Messenger, and, you know, I like it because I can use my computer to message people instead of having to use my phone to text people and have all these errors and whatnot. You know, it's whenever I send a text message using the phone, it's always just really a crazy endeavor trying to type out a simple message. And
yeah, and it's by definition it's cross-platform because it's a website, so as long as any device has a data plan, it can use Messenger basically, which is genius part of it.
Yeah, but I mean, still, Signal would be good because it has an independent, like, a messaging thing. Like, Telegram would probably be better, but it's got a centralized server hosting. It's not end-to-end encrypted, so that's the downside for that.
And I don't know, but actually I should check this. But I can't go on Telegram.com, or at least I don't know of, to send a message on Telegram.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, Telegram does have good encryption. That's the positive side of Telegram. However, it's got a central storage, so that's like they could be potentially subpoenaed or man-in-the-middle or something like that, whereas Signal, you wouldn't have that issue. But as you get more secure, you get less convenient. It's like an inverse relationship between the two. So, you know, at best, maybe you can get somebody to use WhatsApp, but that shares the same weakness as Telegram. And ultimately, it's like people just don't care. Like, you know, they're just like, oh, let's just let our information be completely visible to everybody. Essentially, it's like back to sending postcards and whatnot. Like, you could have a Proton Mail account, but if everybody on your contacts list is using Gmail, then what good is it, right?
Yeah, it's in essence like whichever platform has the most users is the best platform. But at this rate, though, like, I know for myself, I have basically like every platform on my phone. So
yeah.
I don't ever think it's gonna be like a fight to the death where like one survives. Like, we're probably gonna end up like a good, I would say, like 3 to 4 different platforms at the end of the day.
Well, yeah, I do the same thing with my phone and my computer. I have like multiple platforms, and I'll use whatever they have. Like, basically, I'll use whatever is most secure available. Like, Liberal Stooge and my mom are basically the only 2 contacts I have on my phone that actually use Signal. So everybody else defaults to like unencrypted multimedia message or whatever, right?
Yeah, us plebeians who like don't give a shit about like security.
Yeah.
But at this point, like, people out there, my stuff is probably on like the dark web being sold as we speak right now. So.
Oh, you know what? We should start like a dark web business. I was actually this is one of the topics I wanted to talk about, which is like the dark web economy and like the shadow economy, where like they try to calculate the illegal stuff that happens, and it's usually an estimate. But the thing is, they have I don't think they have that yet for the dark web or deep web.
That would be interesting to see, like, an estimate of like, how much shit goes on, like, the market capitalization of basically the dark web shit.
Yeah.
So it's funny you bring that up because Experian, a credit card company, they have this commercial. I don't know if you ever saw it. It's pretty brazen. They're like, "Oh, do you not want your stuff sold on the deep web? Then you got to come with us." And I'm like, "How do you know all this stuff that gets sold on the deep web?" And I've had a plan to call them and ask them that, but I just never did.
Yo, you should record it and upload it to YouTube.
What was the one that basically lost the credit score of like everyone?
That was Equifax, I think.
Was it? I thought it was like I thought it was Experian. Wasn't it like 2 of like the credit companies?
It was Equifax, and then I think something that like these were controlled by them or something like that. Like,
Equifax and like TransUnion, I believe.
Yeah, gross deep web product. No, I don't think deep. No, I think Equifax is the one that got compromised, and they had a service for checking your credit score, and that was also, if you have that, then you can't sue them or something like that because it's part of their terms of service. So it's Equifax and like I think a subsidiary of Equifax, but the big 3 are Equifax, I think Experian, and TransUnion. I think those are the big 3. And as far as I understand, Equifax is the only one of those 3 that got messed up. And it has a subsidiary that is also messed up because, you know, it's like, if you use our business, then you have to agree to our terms, which is that you can't sue us because, you know, we're a private company. We can do what we want.
Yeah, basically, it's like as it goes back to what I said about how if you're legally considered a company, like you do what the fuck you want, like terms and conditions, like people sign their lives away and don't even know. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like a lot of products that you have to use for your employment or your education. It's something you need to use as part of like your like survival, and you have to agree to the terms of service because you otherwise can't do business.
And you'd probably profit just from getting shit done than to, worry about stuff like that.
Oh
yeah.
Declare yourself a business.
That's Arcane.
So
Welcome.
So they
How you
just
doing?
slip through the cracks. Is like they start making deals with other businesses that rely on them, and then have regular people, common people, like have services that they rely on for their livelihood. And all of a sudden, you're just like you can't be something that people can get rid of, and you can do what the fuck you want. Like I'm sure they hire people who sit in the offices doing nothing, doing shit all because they clearly cannot, fail as a company. It's kind of
okay. All right, so I was listening to the Dick Show the other day, and he was saying like he was heavily critical of the Libertarian Party because like they always have like a bunch of like stiffnecks out there running for office, and he's saying like the reason why they never win is because they don't have a sense of humor. Like they need to have someone out there whose campaign slogan is "Am I being detained?" Like they need like a legit sovereign citizen running for office. That's what they need. Yeah, that's basically saying like their slogan should be "Am I being detained?" And then like basically talk about like one of the big things is like abolishing the Federal Reserve. Like their slogan for that could be like "Accepted for value" or something like whatever the meme like sovereign citizen like phrases. And yo,
it should be like "Don't tase me, bro" or something.
Exactly. Yo, I would totally vote for that.
There should be a meme politician.
My favorite politician is was like James McMillan, right? The guy, the rent is too damn high guy. That guy is like the best New York politician like ever because he's legit right. And I don't know. I think he stopped running though. I think ultimately he was just using his campaign as like also like a way to get laid. He was like trying to use it as like a way to hit on girls and stuff. Like he was doing interviews and talking about like the kind of women that he's into and stuff like that.
What?
Yeah. So so a pretty legit guy. I mean, why would you not want to vote for this guy? I mean, like, yeah. But I think he's retired from politics now. So
yeah, I think the hard part here is getting people who are like well versed in memes, but having like the interest to actually run and be a politician.
I don't think I'm old enough to run for office. So I mean, I don't know.
One of us should do it. Like we got to do this.
Or all of us should do it, and we could represent different states, and then like different parties. It's like we're forming our own shadow organization that's like stacking politicians in all the different major political parties, trying to control things from the shadows. Like this is how we form our own whatever it's called.
Dude, yeah,
not a super.
You're a lobbyist. I want to be the lobbyist. I want to be the guy that companies come to to like give money.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, basically we gotta find, like, companies that have a lot of money, and then, like, get, campaign contributions from them by basically, like,
They'll come to us. They'll come to us because we're so well memed.
We're so well memed.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's some reports. I pay attention to stuff like, this is, for instance, there's this woman called Cynthia Green. She's from Georgia. She's pretty cool, and she talks about her story of running as a politician. And it's like basically they come out right before you even win, before you even like the votes even come. Right? They come find you, and they try to make you sign shit, and they intimidate you. By they, I mean like whatever partisan mob happens to be in charge of your state. I guess in New York that would be like the Democratic Party, I suppose. But
well, I mean, I guess you could just say
people even like perceive violence as like I mean, like it's not like they stop you from running, but like crazy shit happens. You get into
No, but the thing is, if you're live streaming, if you're like a meme politician that's just constantly live streaming, like, and they send someone to intimidate you, that'll just be on the stream, and then that's just gonna like blow up your spot right there. Like, they'd have to catch you when you're not streaming, and if you're streaming 24/7, then like, what are they gonna do? And then like, you know, you just got your.
That's interesting. I like that idea. Streaming
Yeah, I mean, well, because think about it, like a politician is a public.
Like, oh shit.
Yeah. You know, and come on, you're like.
His car, and he was live streaming, and then he got arrested from his car. I forgot which state he was from, but that actually happened to him. Something. I forgot who that was.
Yeah, so basically we just need like
a very bad altercation with police.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe like it could be like the internet party. Like I don't know what else to really call it.
Internet party. I like this.
No, actually, no. We could because it needs to be multiple parties, right? So like maybe you could have one for now, the internet party, but then like you know depending on like what their policies are, like some people have disagreements. So like then you have like an opposing party forming called the meme party, and then like eventually the Democrat and Republican party will get phased out, and you'll have like the internet party and the meme party, and those will become the two dominant parties. Yeah, those are the two dominant parties.
That you'd be branded as alt-right.
But then like the thing is like it would be the most transparent government because like everything is basically streamed like constantly because like it's all about streams and memes and then like
that's pretty damn good.
Yeah, I mean. Ultimately, I think that's what America wants, is that they want the government to basically be a reality show, so people will pay attention to it, right? Because, like, from what I've learned throughout high school is that, like, Americans care more than anything else about reality TV. And if we make the government a reality show, everybody would pay attention, everybody would be educated about government. It would solve the whole problem about, like, you know, there was that meme of, like, if you know who these people are and don't know who these people are, you're what's wrong with America. And it's like a picture of Jersey Shore cast and a picture of a bunch of senators or something. And it's like, well, if you made the government a reality TV show of, like, a nonstop internet stream full of memes and all that stuff, then everybody would know who the senators are. And that would solve that problem.
This is an ideal system if we had a lot of transparency.
Well, I mean, it started off as a meme.
The big, you know, what's it called?
Well, I'll say it like I said before. America basically started as a meme. You had a bunch of people who were probably either high or drunk saying, yo, this tea tax is messed up. Yo, we're going to cosplay as, like, Indians and throw it in the water. So they, like, decide to, like, you know, like, culturally appropriate the, like, Native American style. Like, you know, they do, like, the face paint and everything. They put on the headdress. And then, like, they probably, like, you know, acted mad, like, stereotypical as well as they were throwing the tea into the river. And, you know, it's definitely not because they were trying to disguise themselves. I think that's basically them just like throwing out memes there. That was their memes back then, right? Because they didn't have internet. They had, but they did have a lot of Native Americans compared to today. So you know they had what they had. We have what we have. That's how things are going. So I think it's a lot more likely than you think. It might actually be the future of American politics, as we're speaking.
I would be very happy if we can fall into a meme.
I mean.
Meme dream. I would say, like, if you think about it, that's how Trump won. You literally got memed into his presence. This is what people say. It's true.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, that's how we resolve this, like...
We need it to be even more closer to that. We need someone willing to just
we need to know what the Supreme Court is doing. We need to know what the senators are doing. We need to know, like why do we have... Why do we still have Survivor, like, season, like whatever, like 37, when we could be having like I don't know, like a senator instead, and like it's just like basically just like them being assholes to each other, and like, I don't know, trying to vote. Oh man. Oh, imagine if you had a host for like the Congress voting and whatnot, and like sometimes the host would just come up with ways to just like mess with them and just be like, all right, today we have an obstacle course for you guys, and like you know all these like congressmen that like probably don't get enough exercise have to run through a obstacle course and like you know jump over a swing set and stuff, and it's like this was not what they were expecting when they signed up for the free money job, but now they have to actually like work for their money.
I think that's great. I think I also needs like a laugh track to go with it.
Yeah, I mean that's cool too. Like, I mean they're kind of okay. I'm in the Dick Show's what is it called, Discord, and when that Supreme Court decision came out saying that they had to give back the press pass to that dude who was like causing trouble in the White House, they're basically saying like, oh, we can't deny press passes to anyone. They're immediately like, yo, we gotta set up a news organization, get a press pass for a news babe, so we can have like some hot girl there, like getting the news for us in the White House. And yeah, that was immediate response. That they're planning on it. They're going to start an LLC. They're going to start like I don't know, a blog or something. And yeah, it's going to be pretty good. Yeah. What else have you guys been up to? How's your Thanksgiving going? Did you have a good break? If you guys have off on that day.
Dude, fuck Con Plague. Now I'm beginning to understand why, like, the utility of people who go in with, like, masks. Like, those, like, cough masks.
Yeah.
That are in fashion in Asia now.
Well, I think that in conventions, it's most likely, I think what it's most common for is, like, people who like to do trap characters, but they don't actually put on makeup, so, like, their face doesn't match, so they wear the mask to cover their face. I think that's what most people do.
Yeah, I'm gonna start wearing the mask as actually what it was intended for, is to, like, stop Plague. Because fuck Con Plague, it took out my entire...
Yo, so like basically, Taze is our anime con correspondent. Essentially, our weeaboo correspondent. He's like getting like in the trenches of the degeneracy of like the weeaboo community of America, and yeah, basically he's reporting on the on the ground, and he got hit with like the biological weapon. Like I don't know if Con Plague is a natural occurrence or if it's actually some kind of like biological weapon that was designed in some kind of underground laboratory underneath the police department, like in Resident Evil 2. But it's like one of those things where it's like you don't know where it comes from, but you know it's real.
You know what? I thought it was just a weeaboo syphilis.
Weeaboo syphilis? But I mean, like, is it really? I don't know. Like, the back of my neck is hurting after I went to Anime NYC. I don't know if it was from that Con Plague. I think it might be. Like, my throat was hurting, but it's not hurting anymore. Like, so how did your sickness evolve? If you don't mind, like, regaling us with a story of your experience with this Con Plague.
Yeah, it wasn't good. I started like coughing up like phlegm that was in different like colors.
Oh.
Just want to regale you guys with that.
Wait, so you had like the rainbow phlegm? Okay. So we have to get a document.
Color, a different time of day. Like one day it was brown, the other day it was green.
Oh, okay. This is interesting. We can actually, because I don't think like that actually is an actual
diagnosis in the like ICD-10. I believe that it's still not an official diagnosis. So that might have to be something that we have to put into the ICD-11, but we need to know what the symptoms are. So I think it's very good that you documented the rainbow phlegm phenomenon that has occurred, because that's something that will be something. So if we're ever going to have this sickness to be not only treatable but also covered by insurance, we'll need to get this into the DPI, like the ICD-11 when that gets released. But I don't know when that's going to be, because as I believe the ICD-9 was out for basically like years and years. It was like around for almost forever. So
damn, like actual healthcare codes. God damn.
Well, I don't know the actual codes. I just know the name of the book that they use for putting the codes into. It's basically the medical version of psychologist DSM, which I believe they're on are they on 5 right now?
I should know this since I work for a healthcare company, but I can't remember what. I know ICD and 10 and 11's coming out, but
the ICD-10 was only out for a couple of years. That's like a meme book then. Because I know the 9 was out for a long time.
Which is just basically a whole nother crockload of shit to be honest, because the whole healthcare industry is like a scam.
Oh, but do you think it's getting to be an even bigger scam with the made-up genders and whatnot? Because they fully accepted it in Canada. I don't know if America's going to accept it. But if they do that, because I've seen some articles, they're very opposed to I don't know if it's party or not, but like there was some article saying that they were opposed to the CDC trying to like push for like a genetic-based gender classification system where it would be based on your chromosomes. And they said that that was like not based in science and whatnot, and blah blah blah, and all other stuff.
So I don't think it's that's like a second definition of scam as I describe it. Like it will still be the huge like money grubbing like essentially like conspiracy that it is now. Like I don't think the gender thing will change much. Like yeah, it'll be like a point of controversy, but it's just going to be the same old system of healthcare that we currently have. Is in a nutshell is basically you're just taking all our money and nothing's being done. And it's a conspiracy with like pharmaceutical and insurance companies being money grubbers.
Oh, okay. So that's even worse because like if it was like a Resident Evil type thing, like at least we have some means of like dealing with that. But this is like something that like we can't really deal with because if they have like a couple of zombie accidents once in a while, then like eventually it could just get dissolved by the government, and you would get like the Resident Evil like I don't know like 4 instead, right?
Yeah, I think that's eventually that's what we need is a zombie outbreak for people to take things seriously.
Oh, okay.
Like we should make that happen, and I want to push for that and get that rolling as soon as we can.
So then we would actually be like basically Umbrella is like kind of like the good guys like all along, almost.
Yeah, of course, yeah. They were doing it for the betterment of our.
Well, from the games at least, they were doing it because they were trying to come up with like a way to become immortal. Essentially, that was what they were researching.
No, that's evil. We were trying to become mortal for the betterment of everyone.
And so we're gonna create what is it called? A Resident Evil. Are we gonna have like one of those like Resident Evil like commando forces where like you have like these like people who like dress all in black and they have like submachine guns and stuff.
Hell yeah.
If we have a scientist that tries to steal our intellectual property, even though he was the one who invented the virus, like we own it because the virus he developed was a work made for hire. So legally we have the right to that property. But instead of taking him to court, we just send a bunch of like Resident Evil assassins into the sewer to like gun him down, and then he ends up injecting himself with the G virus and then kills the agents that we sent after him.
Yup, exactly as you described, it will happen.
That was actually like such a terrible decision on Umbrella's part because they would have won in litigation because as an employee he would have to sign the work made for hire contract, and then what ended up happening was that caused the outbreak of Resident Evil 2 over the city, which led to the dissolution of Umbrella as a corporation by the U.S. government. So they had messed up there. So I'm giving a review on the corporate review here. The Umbrella Corporation, I give their decision for handling that scientist 4 out of 10 because if they had just gone the litigation route, they would have just spent a couple $1 million. I don't know, maybe like $1 million, probably even less than that, maybe 500,000. But they would have crushed that guy because they had the lawyers. They probably would have like a lot less to deal with, and they would have come up on top and still be out about and making profits. But nope, they had to take the shadowy like assassin route, and they paid the price for it. And so I'm eating some apple pie right now. Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what else you guys got on the menu today? Like, has everybody been having a good weekend? You got off of work, or were you working today?
Yeah. I wasn't working. I basically just like watch anime all the time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I'm not trying to make the joke say like, oh, I wasn't working, even though I was scheduled to be there and was there. But like, yeah, that is what some people would say.
I was shit. How was your Thanksgiving, cameraman?
Cameraman's not a real person. That's just my laptop.
Wait, who was that? Did your friend?
I don't know.
Okay, how was? I thought that was shit. I forgot the name already. Anyway, how was your name, Collector? How was your weekend?
Collector? Oh,
You're the Collector.
Shit, I don't know. I just ate macaroni and cheese, and that shit gave me food coma.
Oh, yeah.
Nice, dude. So I cooked myself a legitimate meal for the first time today. So which is my Thanksgiving, because otherwise, well, technically I still ate out of a can like I usually did. This time I actually like a normal human being went to Walmart, bought some chicken, and now I'm like simmering it on a pan. It's gonna be a feast, man.
Oh, nice. You got like a chicken. I don't know if they have that in your area, but a good alternative are these like pre-cooked rotisserie chickens. Those are delicious.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, you got to get one of those, and then like you could eat some of it, like day by day, just like cut off some pieces of it. I don't know, make it a sandwich.
Dude, yeah, I did that last week. I got the fried chicken at Walmart, and they were almost out. Like because all the connoisseurs of fried chicken took it, and I took pretty much like the second to last one, and that lasted me for like a good 3 days. Like that was good shit. I'm about to do that right the fuck now. They still got it, but it's probably gone by now since it's late. The Walmart
you gotta get
hours though.
Brown rice. That's like some good stuff too.
Hell yeah. No, I'm not about the healthy shit. I'm still with white rice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to shift over to to that, but it's not easy. But I guess it's something you got to do if you can. It was like
so my roommate got like 20 of these broken laptops that he got from like Craigslist because this like company was shutting down. And now basically I have like a pile of laptops in the corner of my room. I'm trying to troubleshoot to see if I can salvage them.
Yeah, are they relatively new? Because like depending on the processor and how much RAM it can take, you could probably just sell them.
So these are fairly old because they're heavy as fuck, but one of them is like quad core, which is impressive to me. They're basically like your power lifter kind of laptops. I would say they're like, if I had to estimate like a year, I would say they're about like 2005 ish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They're basically from like a company that decided to get rid of all their laptops, and if they don't power up, I would probably take apart the parts and do like a Frankenstein laptop kind of deal.
I'll see how much RAM you could max out, like the best model, like the best one you have. I'll see if you can max out the RAM. I think if you could get at least 4 gigabytes, you should be able to sell it for some money. SSD would be good. It also depends on the processor because like a netbook, like Collector and I have a netbook that we kind of just use for like whatever. We tried to use it to go on the deep web. Didn't work out too well. But no.
Well, do you guys need a laptop? I mean, do you guys want like a 15-inch like 2005? Because I could see like how many laptops I could build out of these like broken ass ones, and I'll probably just give it to you, like, ship it to you guys or whatnot. Like I think no effects would do.
Need one? I don't know if Collector needs one. I
don't need one. The less I have, the better.
Same. I'm not the same philosophy.
It's cold.
Right now, I'm just looking to like seeing if you could get them up and running so you can sell them on eBay or something.
So there you are.
All right. So yeah, RAM is important. The processor is important. Solid state drive. You might have to buy one though, because if it's from 2005, I doubt it has a solid state drive already built in. All right, guys. So yeah, that's it for that. We talked about all those other things. I'm not really in the mood to talk about Harry Potter right now, but we could talk about it if you guys want. I had that new movie called The Crimes of Grimwald or something, and it looks like it's a Harry Potter movie, but I'm not sure.
You want something?
Go Garbage.
Just some items in my game. What's been going on?
I was plating this chicken for my consumption. The chicken that I was cooking for myself for like the first time ever.
Yeah, some good chicken, like chicken in a can.
No, this is Tyson, yo. This is the GMO with like inflated like chicken breast, like huge ass. Like you know that chicken is deformed from like genetic mutation.
Oh yeah, that's pretty bad.
Delicious, yeah. You ever walk into like a Walmart and like next to the regular Tyson chicken, I say regular, but like they have these huge ass breasts, right? And next to it are like expensive, they call themselves organic chicken. And I'm just looking at it, I'm like, how? Like, why? Why is this, like, where do you get your chicken, and why is the organic one smaller?
Well, because the organic one is smaller.
It's got to be, like, fucked up somehow.
Yeah, I don't know what they did. I mean, I don't know. Like, are the modified chickens like made out of cancer like cells, but it's like just cooked and like edible? I don't know. I mean, I really don't know. It's weird. I have no idea how they do what they do.
Between the two in flavor.
Yeah, there is.
Organic ones taste better.
Yeah, organic food does taste better.
I'm not just saying that. Like.
Yeah, I agree.
It tastes better.
Well,
so,
yeah.
The essence of the chicken in it.
Well, it's also because you have that more like it's more dense the flavoring of the like for a fruit example, an apple that's large has like the same kind of amount of like apple taste almost, but like it's more spread out amongst the apple. So a smaller apple is just going to taste better.
Interesting.
It's apple concentration of
Yeah, I don't know what the difference is and what they did to the chicken. I'm not entirely against GMO stuff, but I'm against the way it's done. It doesn't look like it's done in an ethical way, meaning I don't know if they're going to make it healthy or if they're just making it profitable. I would assume the latter. And in that sense, I prefer eating the organic stuff. If they had done it in a way that's, if I can trust like Monsanto, which I can't, then if I could trust them, then yeah, I don't really have a problem with that kind of stuff. But there's already all this like controversy with them. I'm not gonna eat their shit, If I can help it, I'll eat it if I have to, but not entirely against it. But
yeah, it's gotta have like, fuck it.
Who knows, right? Yeah, it's gotta have some shit in it that their scientist says it's safe, but that's their scientist, so it's basically nobody knows.
I mean,
is follow around the CEO of these companies that make these chicken and see what they eat every day of their lives, like where their food comes from.
Whoa! Curse enemies with socketed curse on hit.
Wait, what?
So, I just found an item. It will apply a debuff on enemies on hit. And the debuff is like a huge multiplier in damage.
Debuff multiplier. That's pretty interesting. So, like, if they get one debuff for a hit, can you hit them multiple times for multiple debuffs, or would it just like not?
Don't stack of the similar type. But what it does do is it saves you an aura. Basically, I would say this one thing multiplies your damage by like 50%, which is quite, what's the word? Significant. But then the downside is normally you have stats on your rings, and this is a ring without any stats. So
Wait, stats on your rings? Like,
which usually there's defensive stats, so
yeah, that's pretty cool.
out that.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, you wanna max out your defense and HP when you're playing hardcore mode, so that like you don't have to.
But you also want to kill things and somewhat like defend yourself by killing things. Actually, the debuff could be a defensive debuff, so this ring could be used defensively as well. Interestingly, but it requires you to hit the enemy, which if you get killed in this game, you probably it's a surprise. You're not really hitting the enemy. Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah. Anyways, next up on. Okay. Actually, you know what? I think we'll probably just end the stream here. I've run out of topics for now, but we'll be on again at another time. Yeah.